Fishing news is brought to you by Navionics, Okuma, Yozuri, Evinrude, Llama Glass, and the Star Island Yacht Club in Montauk, New York.
Hey, Toby Lapinski for the Fisherman magazine with this week's web video fishing forecast for New England. I'm down here today at Black Hall Outfitters, the shop in Old Lyme. Obviously, if you're not already aware, they've got two shops. There's obviously the one here in Old Lyme. They also got another awesome shop over in Westbrook. So you can check out both of these shops. They've got a full line of paddle sport, fishing, boating needs. But what I'm here for today is I'm finally getting a shot to start rigging up my Old Town Predator PDL. A couple weeks ago I showed it to you, did the unveiling, let you know that I got it, was going to be rigging it up and obviously getting out fishing, but did a little something special. We're going to be doing some rigging videos along with the rigging experts here at Black Hall. Show you an overview on how you can convert your stock kayak into a hardcore fishing machine. Now obviously right out the door these things are awesome. They're ready to fish. You don't need to do anything to them, but I've said it before, us fishermen, we like to tinker, we like to add on, we like to just do extra stuff and customize everything that we use. So we hooked up with the guys from Humminbird, Yak Tack, Yak Lights, Malone, obviously Black Hall Outfitters, a couple of our other friends, and we're going to do this video series. It's going to come out after we get this all rigged up, tricked out for you. I'm going to do a little teaser here and there as it's coming along, but the full unveiling is going to come out with the new year, leading up to a big kayak, gear, and boat buyer's guide next spring. So be sure to stay tuned. You're going to love what we're going to do to this, as of course so am I. Going to get it out on the water as well this fall. So stay tuned for that. Okay, moving along. Unless you've been hiding under a log or something for the last couple of days, you know that Hurricane Dorian is making its way up the East Coast. It absolutely hammered the Bahamas over the Labor Day holiday weekend. Obviously send out my best wishes to everyone who's been affected by that. But from there it's begun to turn north and make its way up the coast, presumably passing by us here in New England sometime late Friday night, Saturday morning, Saturday day. The different projections that we've got going on right now have it somewhere in that range. And while the fishing may very well be blown out for the weekend, quite often those days and even hours prior to a hurricane's arrival, as well as after it has passed and waters begin to clean up, can be downright exceptional for fishing, especially for surfcasters. I was going through some pictures prepping for this and came across a couple of shots of, I believe it was Hurricane Isabel, which hit in September of '03. And these photos, I was down at Watch Hill casting off the east side as, unbeknownst to me, news crews were filming the surf over my shoulder. Well, a few people later said that they saw someone fishing on the news that evening, only to realize it was, unfortunately, me, this goofball down there in the water, in the surf. When the camera zoomed in, they were able to figure out that it was me. I'll say I had some great success that day, actually really for a couple of days, but looking back on it, I gotta say my catch was not worth the risk that I took at the time. Not something I would do anytime soon, wouldn't advise it by any means, so please exercise extreme caution if you fish later this week. Again, those days leading up to it can be really good. There's no need to fish right into it. Caution should be #1 priority. If you're looking to get out and fish, assuming you can get out before the storm hits, or like I said, once it starts to clear up afterwards. Item of note, September 1st marked the fall bonus seasons on porgy and black sea bass in Rhode Island and Connecticut waters. Starting off in Rhode Island, anglers on board 4-hire vessels may now harvest 50 porgies per angler. That began on September 1st and it goes through October 31st. Remember though, private anglers retain the existing 30 fish bag limit on the porgies. This is 4-hire only. The bag limit on black sea bass increases from 3 to 7 fish per angler. Started on September 1st and it goes right through the end of the season, December 31st. And this is for all anglers, private, 4-hire, shore, any way that you can get out there, kayak of course, 7 fish. And in Connecticut waters, anglers on board 4-hire vessels can now harvest as well 50 porgies per person and 7 black sea bass per person. This bag limit increase on porgies goes 9/1 to 10/31, just like it does in Rhode Island, and the sea bass bag limit increase lasts from September 1st to 12/31. Again, the same as it does in Rhode Island, but the difference being in Connecticut, the limit increase is for 4-hire anglers only. All private, boat, shore anglers must abide by the existing regs, which is 30 porgies and 5 sea bass per angler. So in Connecticut, it's exclusively on the 4-hire side. Rhode Island, 4-hire gets the porgy increase, everybody gets the sea bass. Okay. I also heard from Fisherman magazine subscriber Dave Bocas this week. He said he was fishing off of South County, Rhode Island over the weekend with his buddy Nate. They found some breaking fish right off the beaches as soon as they rounded the corner of the breachway. Got a nice sea bass, and they had a bit of a difficult time from there, attempting much more than a couple of schoolies. And he said it was super frustrating because they were seeing a ton of fish on electronics, but they were just not willing to strike anything they threw at them. So they figured, hey, let's just troll around, see what else we can find. Dropped out some umbrella rigs and started getting a bunch more small bass and some bluefish for the day's catch. But unfortunately, the winds really kicked up out of the east, blew them off the ground. So they figured they'd give it one more shot, made a move, found some protected water, see what was there. Well, lo and behold, they found a big pot of bonita blasting on some small bait. Both Dave and Nate each landed their first ever bonita. They got into some small bass and blues as well, but it didn't take too long for the fleet of boats around the area to catch on, and unfortunately pushed them off of the area. They moved on, figured they had a good enough day, made their way back, picked up a few fish here and there along the way. And Dave also noted, he said he was pulling the boat in preparation for the arrival of Hurricane Dorian this weekend. And he said once he was done with that, it was all surf for the remainder of the season for him. So good luck, Dave. I'm sure we'll bump into each other a couple of times this fall. Continuing with the bonita talk, received an email and some pictures from subscriber Lawrence Thompson, over the weekend. He was fishing off of South County and got into some exceptionally good action on bones, landing 14 on Friday and another 15 on Saturday. He said mixed in with the bonita were schoolie bass and small bluefish, providing for some excellent action. Only time will tell just how this bite holds up after Dorian passes, but I'll be sure to pass along any word that I get in next week's video, obviously. And for tuna anglers, the commercial bluefin season reopened on September 1, and anglers got right back to work as opposed to playing catch and release on the big fish as they've been doing for the last couple of weeks. Right out the gate, good friend Captain John Clothier of Fish Chatham Charters nailed a giant that measured 114 inches, weighed in over 800 pounds. And then, of course, while I'm prepping the notes and everything for this video, I'm typing it up and I get an email from John's wife, Kristen. She sent me another email saying that John got another big fish, a 95-incher this time. Now, he's been putting his clients on a steady catch of 36 to about 70-inch tuna for the last couple of weeks with the commercial closure. It's primarily been around the Regal Sword. But he got a tip that there were some giants up north of that. It came just in time, the commercial reopening, and obviously he's been able to pay in on this tip. He also noted that live baits have been critical to his success on the multiple giants that he's landed this season. Although mackerel recently has been a bit tough to come by, so at times he's had to get a little creative. Obviously it's working for him. Then last up this week, last note I got for you, I received a really good fluke report from my friends on Team El Nino as they fished off Montauk over the weekend. Fresh off their $106,000 payday at the Flounder Pounder Open win down in Delaware, the team decided to take a trip up to Montauk once again, try their chances at some big fluke over Labor Day holiday weekend. Well, Sunday was marginal as far as sea conditions, but the team decided they were just going to give it a shot anyway. As the fish are on the move, there's not a lot of days left fishable from this time forward. They said it was a rough one, but the fish definitely cooperated because not only did they boat a single double-digit doormat, not just 2 double digits, but 3 double digits on the trip, spread across 2 of the 3 anglers on the boat. First to strike was Ron Redrow. He started off with a true doormat of a fluke, tipping the scales when they got back to the dock at Westlake later in the day at 12.25 pounds. But he wasn't done. On the very next drift, he followed up with a 10.15 pounder. A lot of guys try for a double digit on their entire career, let alone getting them on 2 consecutive passes. But that wasn't it. They were not done yet. This time it was the captain's turn as Nino Aversa boated his personal best 10.05 pound fluke and followed up that one with one close to 9 pounds on the next drift. Rest of the trip reeled its half dozen more fluke in the 6 to 7.5 pound range, load of black sea bass, a handful of cod in the 24 to 26 inch range. Only time again is going to tell how the fishing holds up after the storm. We'll obviously let you know, so be sure to check back in with us next week. All right, well, there you have it. It's a lot going on this week. Everybody be extremely safe with the hurricane rolling up. And as always, if you do plan to head out and fish this weekend, be sure to start off your trip by visiting thefisherman.com.
Win the incredible Steigercraft Evinrude Lowrance Grand Prize Boat Package and more in the Fisherman's 2019 Dream Boat Fishing Challenge. Get the details now at thefisherman.com.